think we'll get started. Good morning. My name is Carly D'Amato. I'm the Director of Upper School Admission at Springside Chestnut Hill Academy. Thank you so much for joining us today for the first virtual information session of the school year. We appreciate the time that you're taking out of your morning to learn a little bit more about the upper school at SCH. I always like to start this session by giving families a bit of a visual of our school for those who haven't been to the campus. So I like to start by sharing a video. It'll be quick. After the video, we will start with the information session. So enjoy this video. So that's our beautiful campus here in Chestnut Hill. Again, thank you so much for joining us this morning for this information session. I am going to, in a moment, introduce each of these wonderful individuals who are now hopefully on your screen. They are here to chat a bit more about the upper school and what to expect from an academic, social, athletic, and beyond experience at the school. So our speakers today, if you just want to wave, Head of Upper School, Matt Norsini, Assistant Head of Upper School, Courtney West, Director of College Counseling, Brian Walter, our school psychologist, Leslie Fry, and our admission and athletic liaison and associate, Rick Knox. So they are all here to share, a bit more about the school. At the end, I would like to open the floor to any questions that you may have. So feel free to use the Q&A feature on your Zoom to raise your hand or to submit any questions that might be you might be interested in learning more about. So for now, I'm going to pass the mic to Matt Norsini.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your morning to join us here virtually, and I hope that leads you to come to campus at some point in person and see more of the campus you saw on a flyby and see what's going on inside our classrooms and all through the hallways. So I am Matt Norsini. I'm the head of upper school here. This is my 13th year at SCH. I have 3 children here in the middle school, and I really do love it. I love coming to school every day. I love watching my kids and the joy that they feel coming to school. They've been here since pre-K. And it really is a wonderful, wonderful place. And I want to open by just saying that last Friday, we had our first board meeting of the year. And in my presentation to the Board of Trustees, I said that in my 13 years here at SCH and in my 24 years, I guess, in education, this is the best team of faculty that I've ever had a chance to work with. And I said that, why is that? And I think first and foremost, it's because of the relationships that I see them building with our kids and with each other on a regular basis, day in and day out, every student to be known, nurtured, and challenged to grow here. And really at the core of everything we do is that relationship, right? Every high school is going to have its ups and downs. Every student is going to have their challenges and opportunities, but it's the relationship in the end that allows those students to thrive, allows them to bounce back when they have those difficult moments, and it allows for a really strong and consistent communication with each of the families as you're trying to navigate students who are very actively trying to push away from you in high school. And so those relationships are really special to me. And I feel like we have built an incredible team of people here 65 strong, to care for kids and to work together collaboratively to build the best program in the Philadelphia area. And you have so many good choices in Philadelphia. There are lots of schools with strong academic programs, and they each one is going to offer you something similar or something different, and ultimately it is up to you and your family to choose what's best for your child. But what I would say is also special about SCH Beyond the Relationships is that one of the things I appreciate most here is that every student truly can choose their own path. And because we have really strong, caring teachers in every sector of the school, every student is in good hands, whatever path they ultimately choose. And that may not be the path that they think they're going to choose when they arrive in ninth grade. So whether that's the humanities or math or science, or right, if we look at our entrepreneurship program, our robotics program, our outdoor program, our sports program, the coaches, the teachers, the mentors, everyone here is going to help those students on their path find what it is that they're truly passionate about and interested in. And like I said, what I love about this place is with all of the different options and all of the good mentors and coaches and teachers available to students, they may not know what their 12th grade self is going to look like. But there are so many opportunities to choose different paths and different components of who they want to be and who they ultimately become. That a school like this really, really does provide them with something, an experience that is unique. So that's enough for me. I'm going to pass it off to Assistant Head of Upper School, Courtney West.
Thanks, Matt. Hi, everyone. I'm Courtney West. I'm the Assistant Head of Upper School. So this is my 7th year working at SCH. It's the 4th independent school that I've worked at. I have 2 kids. One is at our early childcare center. She's 2.5. And then my second child is 6 months old. So he'll be coming in. He already has a spot ready for the fall. So just to echo, Matt's comments about the community here, especially as I cross the threshold from a staff member here and faculty member to an actual parent in the community. This is really a place where my daughter knows the students, knows faculty. I feel very much at ease knowing my kids are here. I was just having this conversation with Leslie this morning, just knowing that my daughter is on campus, knowing who is caring for her and who sees her, just makes a world of a difference being here, especially as I know this community so well. Some of the things that I do here in the upper school is one way that you may come to know me is I oversee our onboarding process. So as soon as students are accepted into the upper school, I work with students and families to build academic schedules, to take them through our orientation process. And really my goal for all new students and returning students who are entering the upper school is that by the time they set foot here for their first day of classes on campus, they already feel like this is their home. And I feel like we have a lot of programming over the summer and during the first week of classes to really help that transition process. And then that support really lasts all 4 years in upper school. So another piece with my role is I oversee our academic support. So I work closely with Leslie on the academic side for students who may need to take leave or may need additional support or may need to be connected to some of the resources that we have here. And to Matt's point, this being the 4th independent school that I've worked at, this is really the best school in terms of understanding students' individual needs and really putting together support teams for students based on what works best for them and what can help them succeed and really get to know themselves as learners and find their passions here. At other more traditional schools, I feel like I could describe to you what a kid from that school looks like, talks like, what their grades are like. And this is really truly a place where I feel like the kids show us who they are because of all the opportunities that we have. In addition to onboarding and academic support, I also oversee our clubs and activities. I help with our student leadership. And I am also in the English department. I teach 9th grade English. And then again, just speaking to the point of the opportunities that we have here, just with clubs activities alone, we have about 35 clubs and activities. They're all student run and student led. And there are various degrees in which students can be involved in the community, from just creating a club for a place with students of common interest to get together and hang out and get to know other people in the community who might not be in their academic classes or their social groups or their sports teams or their theater groups or robotics. And then there's also different levels in terms of activities and councils where students are really serving as the bridge between the voice of the student body and administration to really have an impact on the student experience in upper school. So we really look to the students to guide us in making sure that we have our fingers on the pulse. We know how it feels to be an upper school student here. We know what students need to be successful, to feel seen and supported. And so as someone who has a privilege to work with many students in that aspect, I'm so grateful for the voices that we have to help just tailor that student experience. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I do. I could go on forever, but I'm going to pass it on to Leslie.
Wow, I don't know how to beat anything that Matt or Courtney just said. So just ditto to all of that. But hi, everybody. I am Leslie Fry, and I'm the upper school psychologist here at SCH. This is my 8th year being under Mr. Norsini and part of that great administrative team that I'm very fortunate to be a part of. That includes many people on this team. So as Courtney indicated, I'm one of the people who you come to for student support. Obviously, the word school psychologist, you can understand that means that if a student is struggling with any psychological issues, any learning disabilities, ADHD, anything that impedes on their ability to learn or impacts their ability to learn, I'm the one who creates the accommodation plans. I look over the evaluations to make sure that this is the right placement and also let you know what we can and cannot do at our school. I'm also act as the liaison between parents and students and the teachers. And I'll guide teachers when it comes to certain students that they're struggling with and how to meet them where they're at and help them everybody to feel supported in that situation. As Courtney and Matt both said, I wish I could say that's like my only position here, but it's not, because like we want to be a part of the community. My nieces do go here, so you might see me on the lower school campus every once in a while, checking to make sure that the senior buddies are treating her correctly. And also just because I love visiting the lower school, just because it's a wonderful place to be, just like the middle school and obviously the upper school is. And I think that speaks to us as well, is that we want to make sure that there are a lot of contributions and a lot of collaborations going across the boards, because these students are mentors and they're great leaders. And we want to show them that. I'm also a co-advisor for the Mental Health Club, along with our counselor, because again, it speaks true to like we at this point in life, it's okay to not be okay. And we have to indicate when we need help. And I needed help with needing a counselor. So we have a wonderful counselor who's here that works on our social emotional support team. So I am more of the organizer of things and she's the implementer. But we work hand in hand to make sure that students are feeling supported there. I'm also co-advisor to a 9th grade team or 9th grade group of wonderful, vibrant boys and girls and all the like. And they, with our Polly Kimberly, one of our other counselors, who is also connected to the accommodation plans when it comes to ACT and SAT. So you can see me in those lights, as well as yoga club. I'm a co-advisor for that. And like Courtney said, there's so many different activities that you can go do as a student here. And so you might see me pop into the players area and arena just to be a little assistant to them every once in a while, because we do focus a lot on mental health and DEI conversations. And so we want to make sure that they are getting the right kind of conversations going through and breaking that stigma wherever we can. So that's a little bit about me. If you have any questions in regards to the evaluations piece, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to answer anything. Again, we want to make sure that your child feels supported here, and you know that what you're getting is what we can provide. So with that, I will jump over to BW, as I like to call him, or Brian Walter, our Director of College Counseling.
Hi, everybody. Brian, I'm the Director of College Counseling. I've been here 14 years. I have 2 kids here. this is the only independent school I've worked at, but I'm going to guess I probably visited more independent schools than anybody else, probably at this school. In my previous job, I worked in admissions, and I can tell you that this is a special place. Obviously, there are great schools in Philadelphia, but as we all have talked about, I think this is a school that meets a lot of kids where they are and offers multiple paths to success. And I think that dovetails nicely into the work we do, obviously, with college counseling. And so just to give you a little bit of our office and how we work with kids, we have 3 full-time counselors, usually working with about 40 seniors each. So we really are trying to help each student find that home where they're going to be able to succeed. And as you've gathered, there's not a one-size-fits-all kind of kid here. And I think that's the main reason I love working here, is because we have such a interesting kids in different shapes and sizes, and the factors that play out for one student versus another student in their family. So we've got kids where, for them, it's the academic piece of their search that's driving it. We have some students who want a lifestyle choice for college, some where affordability is the most important thing, some students with athletics, with robotics, acting, filmmakers. And I think that's one of the things that we're trying to do, and what we do well is to really know our kids and what makes them tick. So right now with seniors, we're really in the weeds with meeting with kids. I probably meet with 8 or 9 seniors a day right now in September and October. So right now that's what we're doing with seniors who do have a college class senior year. So there's a workshop and also the unofficial meeting. So again, for juniors, we have a college class as well. And that's also when we start December, January, meeting with each family, getting a college list, really trying to sort of dig down a little deeper on the micro level, where the first semester with juniors right now, we're kind of taking a bigger 10,000-foot look at the college process, a macro look. Each junior does some writing for us in the college class, lots of information we try to gather from them. And then as they move into second semester, they get to know themselves better, what kind of schools are going to be the right fit. And then we do assign sophomores a counselor in December. So our first conversation with students is typically sophomore year about course selection for junior year. And with 9th graders, we really keep our hands off a little bit, which I think is good. We do meet with each 9th grade advisory just to kind of talk about the next 3 years, maybe do some demystifying. But again, we love the kids that we have here. We have so many different kids who really do go to a range of colleges. And typically, just to give you a stat, I think that will make you feel good, about somewhere from 92%, 89%, somewhere in that range each year, our kids find one of their 2 top choice schools. So that's enough for me. I'm going to head it over to the legend, man who wears many hats here, Rick Knox.
Good morning to everybody. Thanks for being here today. So I have a long history with the school, and as Brian mentioned, wear a lot of different hats, but I'll start off by saying that I've been working here 19 years professionally, but my career with the school started as a student. So I'm an alumni of Chestnut Hill Academy, and again, I've been back to work at Chestnut Hill now, SCH, for 19 years. I teach 11th and 12th grade history. I'm also the head football coach, and that is where my role then comes in with the admissions department, as well as the athletic liaison to admissions. But it goes further than that. I have 3 children, 2 of whom have already graduated from SCH, starting in pre-K and going all the way through. So I have a daughter who's a junior at the University of Pittsburgh. I have a daughter who's a freshman at Penn State. And then my son is a junior here. So wearing all those different hats, from teacher, administrator, coach, parent, obviously I know the school inside out. And I would just say, first and foremost, it is just an outstanding, down-to-earth, real-world community. And that's why I've spent, a vast portion of my life here. But here to just talk a little bit about our athletic program quickly. And what I would say is that our athletic program has, 2 main goals and 2 main views that we're looking at here. Obviously, with athletics and high school athletics, there's one side of it where we have extremely want to. Part of our view there is that we want to have an athletic program, but also at the same time, we also really view athletics as an offshoot of the entire community. Of athletics can definitely, add to the community, but also athletics is something that really teaches life lessons to all of our. And so we have a 2-sport requirement for all students here. I would also just say that it's very flexible, our athletic program. So yes, we have a 2-sport requirement, and we have some students that have been playing a specific sport, for example, since they're very young and are extremely committed to that sport and want to go on to try to play Division I athletics. And that certainly happens. But we also have student athletes that come in and maybe have never played a sport before and just want to try that sport. So in just terms of talking about the flexibility with our athletic program, again, there is the ability, like this isn't one of those larger schools where if you haven't played since you're 4, you can't find a spot on the team and get a great experience from it. And again, that ties into us wanting, everybody that has played a sport knows that we are better people from that sport, and it's taught us a lot of important life lessons. And so we want that to be accessible to all of our students. The other piece is if someone is not, a gung-ho athlete, they can also earn those credits in other ways. So yes, we do have one of those sports needs to be taken up by being involved with the team. However, that could be as a manager. We also have students that earn those credits maybe by filming games or being more of a tech advisor to a team. But students can also earn an athletic credit being on the robotics team, players, as we mentioned. And also we have a fit for life class that a lot of students are involved in. So again, just with our athletics, I think that, we accomplish a lot with it. It meets students where they are. We have some students, as I mentioned, that want to go on and play Division I athletics. And for the size of our school, the number of kids that do that is super impressive. But we also, again, have students that maybe never played a sport before, try it, stay on for 4 years, and just get a really great experience and learn a lot of life lessons from it. So again, great to talk to everybody and look forward to answering some questions.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate all your insights and information about the school. So I do want to now give families the opportunity to ask questions that they may have. I see one has been submitted. So families that are participating, please feel free to use the Q&A feature to submit questions, and we'll do our best to answer as many as possible. So one question that has been asked is, if someone wants to join a sports team, do they automatically make the team, or do they have to qualify?
So I'll take that. So, during the preseason for every sport prior to each season, there is sort of a preseason and to some extent a tryout process. However, we have very few teams that actually ever make cuts. The only teams that really ever make cuts are more in the winter, where there is a space element to it. So, for example, with our fall teams, I can think of very few, if any of them, that actually make cuts. So for the vast majority, if you want to play, you're going to try out, and then you would either make, possibly the varsity, the JV. We do have a couple teams that have freshmen. And again, because we are a smaller school, there is a lot of space for those athletes. And as a result, also being a smaller school, there's an opportunity to earn playing time if you don't have a lot of experience with the sport. So to be simple there, most everybody makes the teams. There's very few teams that have cuts.
Thanks, Rick. I think that leads into a question that maybe I will just throw out to everyone, and a bit more about the transition to SCH. What do we provide students in terms of supporting them in that process of coming to the school as new students? For families, just so you are aware, traditionally about a third of our students are new coming into the 9th grade. So it does end up being a great time to join the school, because the way the school is set up, we are single gender through 8th grade, and then we are co-ed in the high school. So our middle school students are joining the upper school community on the upper school campus, which you are welcome to come and see at some point if you would like to tour. But it's new to everyone. But if anybody would like to maybe chime in a bit about some of the things that we do to support our students in making that leap and transition to the upper school.
Yeah, I think we do a lot of things here, which is wonderful. And I think in part that's because of what Carly mentioned, and that is that upper school is new for all of our students, since even students that have been here their entire lives. 9th grade is different. They're moving from smaller single-sex schools into a much larger co-ed environment of about 125 students. A third of those students, as Carly pointed out, are new to the school, but upper school and being in this environment is new to every one of our students. So as Rick pointed out earlier, preseason and being on a fall sports team is a great way for any student to really begin to make those connections, not only with classmates in 9th grade or 10th grade, but across the grades. And it allows them to get on campus in the summer to meet different people, meet some coaches, and really get some familiarity. Courtney does an incredible job running an orientation program for all of our 9th graders. A fast start for those who are new to the school, so they have a little extra time to meet their advisors, get their laptops, get their questions answered. And even before that, once you accept and enroll at SCH, really in June, we'll welcome you to campus to pick up some books, some freebies from the admissions office, and then most importantly, have about an hour plus session with Courtney, where she's going to walk everyone through what the academic schedule looks like, what to expect, answer questions for people who are unfamiliar with the kind of the ins and outs of SCH's upper school program, so that everyone can go into the summer feeling good about the decision that they made and know who the contacts are on campus that they can reach out to. Then, yes, wait, there's more. Then the first 5 days of 9th grade, our 9th graders go into the woods with Philadelphia Outward Bound School. We are the only school in the area that does this program. And for 5 days and 4 nights in their advisory. So just as a side note, in our school, advisory is a 4-year grouping. So when they go together in 9th grade, they then stay with that advisor and that group for 4 years. It's a really wonderful way to build lasting, meaningful relationships, not only for the students with each other, but also for you as families with an advisor who, you know, through all of the changes that come with upper school, you have that one constant, that person who you can reach out to if you have questions, or that you know is watching out for your kids. Those groups, their first experience together after orientation is 5 days, 4 nights in the woods, no showers, no toilets, lots of bonding. It's all designed to get students to really to be a little bit vulnerable, to push them outside their comfort zones, and to learn more about who they are and what they're capable of. And as a group, to really build that group dynamic and that firm foundation for what will be 4 years together. So there is a lot more information that comes out about that in the spring, but that is something that's a really wonderful and powerful first experience for our 9th graders. And then when they come back for the second week of school, they have stories, they have bonds, they know each other, and it really helps launch them into the year. Once we get into the year, we have the advisory program, obviously, but then our first semester on campus, our 9th graders are going to what we call our freshman seminars once a week, with their advisory and about half of their class total. And those seminars are focused on different things about being a 9th grader and being in high school. Or what does it mean to show up in class, right? What does it mean to be prepared for class? What does it mean to work in or to go to a school that is driven by a mission statement like ours? What does it mean to be a part of this community in any number of ways? And so once a week for that first semester, that's another kind of soft on-ramp to help students really get used to upper school, the expectations, see a bunch of different teachers and faces that are there to support them as teachers, as advisors, as community members. And then I think that is pretty much it. Courtney can chime in if there's anything I forgot, but it's a really just want to summarize quickly that we have a lot of different pieces that are all intentionally designed to help 9th graders and new students feel like they can get off and running and connected. And I would say the last thing I will say, this is the real last thing I'm going to say, is that typically by October, as a 9th grade teacher, longtime 9th grade teacher, and obviously as an administrator here, by late October, I really can't tell who our students are that came up from our middle school and who are new to the school. And I think that is a testament to how quickly and how well and how firmly these kids get connected to one another and to the program through all of these various means. So Courtney, if I forgot anything, feel free to jump in.
I think that's everything. I think the one small piece I might add to give a little bit of a peek of what can happen behind the curtain is just as faculty and as administration, we meet frequently and assemble as individual student support teams to just check in on how students are doing, to share information, to share where students are seeing success, where they could see a little bit more growth. And so we're always in communication with each other about individual students and their progress and how they're adjusting and where they are succeeding. We've also had meetings as an entire upper school faculty where we've gone through the entire list of students just to check in and make sure really no one ever falls through the cracks here. And as someone who works with academic support and student support, I'm very confident that we have a really tight system of just making sure there are multiple check-in points with teachers, advisors, just to make sure that we are aware of where students are and how to kind of keep them on this path.
I just wanted to quickly add something to what Matt talked about there with the Outward Bound trip. That's just evidence of how strong that bonding experience is for our freshmen. So I'm also a 9th grade advisor. I have 11 advisees and 4 of them are new. And as you might want to try to think back on your high school career and what you might expect from the first time that 11 freshmen gather in a group in a new room, what you probably would imagine the first time that they gather at school is that they would sit there awkwardly, maybe not say much to one another, and it would be like pulling teeth to get them to interact. That was not the case at all for my advisory. They had just spent, as Matt mentioned, a week on this Outward Bound excursion, and these 11 students were so connected. I was really amazed. And not only the students that had been in school together already, but these 4 new students, the bond that they had clearly formed in that week was evident the very first day they all sat together in a group at school. So that's just a quick testament to how powerful that is. And I know that bond will only grow over the next 4 years with those students with that foundation.
Thanks, everyone. All right, so a couple more questions have been submitted, so I'm going to try to get to as many as possible before we move on. Since we have been talking about the seminar, I'll start with this one. Does the 9th grade seminar also talk about adjusting to the greater academic demands of high school? How to get support if you need it, or how to plan your time so you can do athletics and get homework done?
Yeah, so I would say yes to all of these. Basically, when this programming launched, we looked into our community of experts, teachers who work with students every day and know what success looks like and know what they're expecting. They have signed up to run these seminars with our 9th graders. So yeah, we have seminars on organization, communicating with teachers, what it looks like to show up for success in a classroom. Really small, sometimes they're small things that students can just work on skill building. And others are a little bit more big picture things, like Matt was noting, what it looks like to be in a school with our mission statement. Additionally, with the seminars, we also have an advisory curriculum. So while the 9th graders are sitting through these seminars and getting this information, they then work through curriculum with their advisors on those specific skills. And it could be organizing their planner, opening their Google Drive and creating folders and systems to organize all of their classes. Having a system for communicating with teachers, using our student academic support time at the end of the day to get one-on-one help with teachers, or just continue to build that student-teacher relationship. So in addition to the seminars, it's also, twice a week in advisory where students are getting these skills and the actual practice where they're opening their planners, they're opening their laptops, and they're doing these things together. We also have a student resource center, which is a space on campus that lives to be accessible to students and faculty for student support. So this can look like students dropping in during free periods or study halls to get support while working through their academics. But it can also look like faculty members who work in the Student Resource Center pushing into advisory lessons to help teach students about organization, time management, communication, all of those skills that are really important, not just in 9th grade, but are skills that we practice all through upper school.
Thanks, Courtney. Yeah, and just to dive a little bit more into that. So Courtney mentioned SAAS, or Student Success Period. At the end of every academic school day, our students have from 2:50 to 3:30 to be with their teachers if they need them. This is designated time before sports and activities really take place, where they can be working on homework individually, group work with their peers, or seeking the assistance of a teacher that they may be needing more time with. Additionally, just as somebody who was a advisor with Brian Walter for 4 years, I think it's great that the teachers also provide feedback in the My SCH portal. So you would be able to track how your child is performing academically, how their attendance, their homework, their quizzes, their assessments, how their grade is being developed, and any feedback teachers may provide on tests, assignments. Come see me during SAS, come see me during a study hall. Let's connect before the next test or before you hand in an assignment. So teachers will provide that encouragement as well to students who may benefit from having it in writing. I don't know if anybody else wants to chime in about that, but so that's that. More questions. Somebody was asking about our CEL program, our Center for Entrepreneurial Leadership. That is one of our definite differentiators from other schools in the area. I can share a little, and then if anybody else wants to add in, please feel free to do so. The CEL program is a program that is taught throughout lower, middle, and upper school at SCH. It is not a program where if you come in ninth grade, you are behind in any way. These are unique courses that the ninth graders and 10th graders have access to in the upper school. Specifically in ninth grade, students get to choose 2 courses out of 4. There's a microprocessing and coding class, a product design and fabrication class, a app design coding class, and a business fundamentals class. So they get to take 2. They're semester-long classes. They choose them with Courtney during the onboarding process. And these courses are meant to be an exploratory experience for them to try something new and to learn a bit more about our entrepreneurial program. And then in 10th grade, every student does a semester-long capstone project. And this is a passion-based project. It can be individual, it can be a group project, it can be starting a nonprofit, a for-profit, it could be writing and producing an album using our recording studio, it could be writing a novel for children. It can literally be anything. And the goal of that is for, again, students to be thinking critically, potentially working with peers, collaborating, being resourceful, thinking outside the box, potentially failing, right? That's part of life, and the experience is realizing that you have a great idea, but maybe it doesn't work out. But it's all about that learning experience. And then from there, what I always tell families, they could never do it again. CEL can be a thing of the past, and they can continue to pursue their love for the arts, the humanities, the math, the engineering, whatever it may be. But for some, it becomes a fire is lit, and there is a project that is designed and an interest that is built that they want to pursue further. And we do have this accelerator program for 11th and 12th graders to continue to build upon that already formulated idea or another idea that may come from it, with more fine-tuned mentoring from within and within the community and outside the community, learning how to pitch your ideas, going to competitions, raising money to create businesses that are profitable and out there. So that's a bit more about CEL. I don't know if anybody else wants to chime in about that, but it is.
I was just going to add, I talk to 9th graders and 10th graders a lot about sort of how CEL can play a role for them down the road in the college process. And just to throw it out there that we've had dozens of students over the last 7, 8, 9 years who've sort of showcased their CEL work in their college application process. And anything that you can talk about authentically in the college application that no other students can talk about in the country and the world, there's real value to that. And I think as a way to, again, a differentiator in the college process, we've had dozens and dozens of kids where that piece of their application, I know from the feedback from college, all types of colleges, has helped that student either perhaps get into a school or get more scholarship money. So there's that, the outcomes piece. I just want to throw it out there. Most of our kids are doing their CL work because they love it and it's a passion and they're just that kid, but it's also their ability to really talk about the ups and downs of that process, not just what they did or what they made, but the things that colleges want to see, the ability to kind of rise up after getting knocked down, work with adults, fundraising, putting yourself out there. Those are really valuable things for kids in the college process. So I just wanted to add that as something you may not have thought about with CEO.
Thanks, Brian. And then lastly, a question, this will be the last question that we'll take, is regarding testing. As you may or may not know, at the independent schools, you are required to sit for either the SSAT or the ISEE standardized exam. And that is a piece of our application process at SCH and at many other area schools. Always encourage families to do the practice test to see which one your child may feel more comfortable with, because while they do cover more or less the same information, they are different at the same time. So you can Google differences between ISE and SSAT, and you can kind of get a bit of an idea of what your child will be looking to will be tested on. While it is wonderful to think that, a 99 percentile test score is what we are looking for, it's great. We love that. It's not feasible to imagine that every single student taking this test is going to be a 99th percentile test taker. There are a range of test scores that we are going to be considering when we look at a student's application. And it is not the only piece that we are considering when we are making a decision on if we can offer a student a space at the school. We will be looking at recommendation letters. We will be looking at transcripts. We'll be seeing how they will contribute to our school community. There is a interview and school visit that's part of the day. How did the students contribute to the classrooms that they were a part of? How was their interview when they were here on campus? What questions did they ask? Things like that. So there are many layers and many pieces that we try to take into consideration when we are looking at a student's application and considering them for a spot. So while I don't want to take away the importance of the test, I do want to just state that, there are a range of scores that we are able to consider when we are looking at applications. Anyone else want to say anything about that? Everyone agrees? All right. So with that, we are going to conclude the information session. Thank you so much for all of the questions, and to my panelists and teammates for being here again for one of our virtual sessions. For our families, if you have not submitted an application and you're considering SCH for the 24-25 school year, I would encourage you to submit your application. Once you submit an application, I will be in touch shortly thereafter to discuss next steps, scheduling visits, things like that. If you have submitted an application, I would start looking at testing dates. I would follow up by emailing me or calling me so that we can start scheduling, get your child's visit on the calendar. Visits are starting Monday, and the schedule will start to fill up pretty quickly. So please feel free to give me a call or email me to start that process as well. And yes, we appreciate you being here. Thank you. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person, hopefully in the near future. And I wish your families all the best with the high school admission process this year. So thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.